Oh, hi there. Welcome back. Did you miss me? Come on in, pour yourself a coffee, pull up a chair, and let's talk about how the market's doing in Calgary in real estate. If you've been paying attention to the news, you've probably heard some pretty big headlines, some pretty encouraging news about our retail sector. And I'm going to break it down a little bit for you, get a little more into the numbers. February 2021 was a huge month. Sales volume was up 54% over last February. So that's total sales of MLS listed houses. That's not including new homes. And keep in mind, February last year was off to a pretty good start. The year was off to a pretty good start. There was some scary news coming out of China and Europe about a virus or something. You may have heard of it. But February last year, things were still pretty normal in Canada. And for us to be up 54% in sales over that time last year, that's a huge amount of movement. So that was our best February since 2014. And I believe better than any month we had in 2020. So really good sign for how the year's going. I'm going to break all the numbers down and hopefully try to answer why. That's a little trickier. I can show you what the numbers are. Try to figure out how we got there is a little trickier, but I'm going to attempt it. I got some theories. So to start with, I'm going to break the market into different segments. And I'm going to start with the big one, which is detached homes. So starting from the top, working our way over, for sale, that's the inventory. So 1,927 detached homes currently on the market in Calgary. That is down almost 30% from this time last year. So that first statistic, that first data point, a lot of that is driving what we're seeing here. The inventory is really low. There are more buyers than sellers. And that's a big part of what's causing things to go kind of crazy here. So for sales, 1,123 detached homes sold in February. That's up 65, almost 66% from the February before. So just a monster month. New listings, 1,573, up 17.5%. Now, pay attention to those numbers, the sold versus new listing, because that's something we measure too, sales to new listings. And you'll notice there are still quite a bit more new listings than there were sales. So the inventory did grow last month. It's down, it's small compared to what we're used to, but it did grow. So while it has flipped to a buyer's market, it's still not quite that crazy scenario that you'll see in Vancouver or Toronto. There are still more houses going on the market than coming off. So on detached, it's about 71%, for a sales to new listings ratio. So if you go over 100%, that means the inventory is shrinking, and that creates even more of a frenzy to try to buy what little product is out there. So we're seeing the beginnings of that, but still, balance that out with the knowledge that the inventory is still increasing, and we'll probably keep doing that. So the average price up 8.86%. So that's just the average of all those detached homes sold last month. That's a big jump up too. 8% is a significant amount. Days on market is down to 37. That's down 30%. So that's on average how long it takes from when a property is listed to when it has a firm sale. Now at 37 days, if you consider most of those sales would have been conditional, and the buyers would have had a financing condition and a home inspection condition, and usually we give 2 weeks for those conditions. Really, 37 days, it might have been more like 23 days before that the average house had a conditional sale on it. So things are really moving. Sold price versus list price, that's up as well, 98.19%. So you're hearing a lot of stories about how stuff has multiple offers and bidding up and going above list price. That does happen, and there's definitely more of that happening right now. But as it sits right now, on average, people are getting still a little bit of a discount on a detached home that they buy. It's pretty close to full price, but you still have to price your place right. The market's going to decide what it's willing to pay, right? So everything, if you're a buyer, everything you're hearing about all the houses going above list, on average, they're not. On average, they're not. On stuff that's below 600 grand, there's a real scramble to buy that stuff. And, if you're looking for something like that right now, you got to jump on it pretty quick. So moving on, I'm going to show you semi-detached homes. So semi-detached homes, that means duplex, right? So one shared wall, 2 dwellings in one building. Inventory shrunk again on that. Inventory is really low on semi-detached. A lot of those semi-detached that come on the market are new infills and stuff like that. At any rate, the inventory is down 39%. Sales are up 30%. 181 of those sold last month. 250 more added to the market. So still, that's a 72% sales to new listing ratio. Not panic mode yet. Average price up. Days on market down. And sold price versus list price pretty comparable to what you're seeing on detached, but typically 98.3%, a 1.7% discount on average on those properties. The next category is row homes. So these are your townhouses. Inventory, again, down. 792 of those on the market, 260 sold. That's a huge increase over last February, 58% bump on that. 453 new listings added. Average price went up. Days on market went down. Same story to a different extent. And sold price versus list price went up a little bit. People are getting a little more discount on row homes. There is a little more supply on those based on how many are moving. And so those statistics kind of go with each other. If we go to apartment, now I've told you in the last couple of months that apartments are really struggling. There's some good news here for apartments too. The inventory shrunk a little bit, not a huge amount, 2.5%. There are still 1,433 apartments for sale in Calgary right now. We sold 272 of those last month, 30% jump over the prior year. So that's encouraging if you have a apartment you're wanting to sell. New listings, 572 new listings. So sales to new listings ratio on apartments still only 48%. So for every one that's sold, there's still 2 more being added to the market. So very much still a buyer's market on apartments, but still some encouraging news here. Average price went down 7%. That's a significant amount. That speaks to the type of apartments that are selling. Really high-end luxury apartments and penthouses are a tough sell right now. But cheap apartments continue to move. 70 days on market on average. That's gone up a little bit. So it's, again, like I said, still a buyer's market for apartments. And sold price versus list price, 96.19%. So people are seeing on average a pretty decent discount when they buy an apartment. So just sort of to summarize, I wanted to talk about maybe why this is happening right now and why we're getting this increase in price and decrease in inventory and that sort of thing. There's a bunch of factors. It's tough to measure exactly what's going on, but there's a bunch of factors that are contributing to this. In no particular order, interest rates. I mean, you can get a mortgage right now for practically free, like 1.49, 1.59, 1.69%, unheard of rates. So it's encouraging people to borrow more, spend more. There was this virus that's been going around, I guess. I don't know if you've heard about it, but this whole pandemic thing has really changed people's lifestyles. It's made a major impact in the way we work. So if you're like me, you're probably working out of home a lot more often. A lot of people who would have normally been commuting, they've been doing their work from home all year, and their employers are looking at their staff and going, well, we can still get this job done without people having to come to an office. So maybe we don't need to spend all this money on office space, and so companies are changing their relationship with staff and vice versa, and people are commuting, so they're working from home. So there's this push for detached homes and this exit from apartments. I think a lot of people are getting rid of their inner city apartments, and they're looking for a change in lifestyle and looking for a yard and a garage and some space. And they're pushing out to the outer communities where it's still affordable. And speaking of affordable, Calgary right now, even I showed you the average prices going up, is still far and away the cheapest major market you can buy in right now. So you can still buy a decent house at a price that a pretty standard salary can carry. So people are seeing that. They're seeing the deals out there. They've got cheap interest. Their lifestyles are changing. Builders have not been able to supply a lot of quick possession homes, so there's not a lot of competition for new homes on the market. So very much it's a seller's market, particularly in the detached space. And I would expect that to carry on for at least the near future until the inventory will catch up. But anyways, it's good news pretty much across the board for Calgary real estate, and encouraging for our economy and the general well-being of our city as a whole. So I'm excited to serve you up these numbers, and I have a feeling when we talk next month, I'll have a bunch more good news to report. So thanks for sticking around, and be sure to like and share this if you found it valuable.